Hey guys, and welcome back to my Let's Build of Roller Coaster Tycoon 3? This ain't Roller Coaster Tycoon 3. Is it? Could it be? Can it be so? Is this? It is! It's Theme Park Studio! Version 0.04. Pre-alpha, yay! Anyway, yeah, so it technically is and isn't Theme Park Studio. Of course, right now it is in its early access. It's in its pre-alpha stages, so as of right now, it's still available to us. But there are plenty of bugs, glitches, and fine tweaks that they still need to do. But hey, at least we still have it. We can play around with it. We at least know how to deal with it. So it'll give us some time in order to learn this software. But anyway, I forgot our introductions again. Hey, welcome to Theme Park Studio with Rubix here. I was going to make this video as soon as the game came out. However, I decided to wait a bit, kind of learn the software, so I can kind of show you guys some of the things that you can do, or that this thing is capable of, rather than making another video of somebody trying to figure out how to deal with this stuff and what everything does. So hopefully you guys will learn some stuff and figure out for yourselves if this is the right kind of game for you. So far, looking at it right now, looking at the interface, looks kind of complicated. Something that you'd find in a professional software like Photoshop or Maya or Max, you know. Hopefully they will give other users, more beginner users that are just here just to build something really simple. They'll probably have a basic interface for you guys, but so far everything is as complicated as it seems. You can look at it like this. Let's just look at this right here. Blender source blend discipline. Yeah. People that are just the first time users, people that aren't really into modeling or any of that stuff, they won't know about bump maps, texture maps, normal maps, all this stuff. Yeah, this is a normal map, by the way. It's blue and has so many colors, and it basically tells you the details that aren't really there. It's just a basic information about normal maps, in case you didn't know. But yeah, anyway, it is rather complicated. Looking at it, there does seem to be a learning curve. But I'm pretty sure Pantera will eventually change that for some of the beginner users. Of course, as of right now, again, it is in pre-alpha, and they are listening to its fans. They're listening to the community, looking at suggestions, and I have seen some people already suggest a basic user interface for beginners, and then we can have the advanced one when you get into it later. But so anyway, that's a bit of an introduction there. We're just going to go ahead and continue on looking at the top map here. We're not going to really get into this. Of course, it's just simple, new, save, or open and save. Just about. This one is to toggle your tools to the left. Grayed out right now, so, can't really use those. Again, we're going to kind of skim through this. If there's anything else that I've learned about it, I will let you know, but I'm going to try to skim through most of this as much as possible so we can get to some of the more fun stuff. So let's look at this bolt first. Bolting is basically just freezing your item so you don't move it around, you don't select it, so you have a lot of objects and you want to kind of bolt that down so you don't really select it. That one, again, that's probably me selecting the path. I haven't bolted that down. You can bolt that down. See, now it's red. Bolt it down. Can't select it except for that part. Kind of move that part around. But you lied to me, bolting. You cannot bolt. But yeah, anyway, at least you can't move this part. This part is unmovable. And so even asks you if you want to unbolt it. But other than that, besides this little white ball, everything is bolted down. You can't move it or adjust it or anything like that of the sort. We will get to this one a little bit later because I haven't really I've only known how to use this object in one way. So I'll kind of go back to that. Move to selected is basically your framing tool. So let's say you're working with something up here and you kind of forgot, oh, hey, I forgot to do something in the plaza. You can just click that and you can frame yourself back to that object. Now it kind of doesn't sound really intuitive because you're gonna have to come, if you're working with this, it kind of won't work. See, because I deselected it. If I can kind of rotate back there, so it's kind of not that intuitive right now because you're gonna have to go back here and select it and then frame yourself, but what's the point of that? But anyway, hopefully what I hope they'll do is kind of like create a list or an outliner. Like you can name your objects, and again, like if you're working here and you're like, oh wait, I want to change something in another part of my park, you'll have like an outline or a list of stuff that you have here. Let's say park entrance, this certain ride, you can click that and then click the frame object, then it'll directly get you there, and then that'll be a little more intuitive. But as of right now, that's pretty much what it does. Other than that, let's go ahead and move forward here. These are your manipulation tools: moves, rotate, and scale. So we're going to go ahead, bring in an object. Actually, it's not really good with a tree. It'll actually look better. You'll actually understand it more if I have a building. Not a custom scenery building, nope. More like, yeah, this one. So let's say this building. Moving it around, the move tool actually gives you a little bit, kind of gives you a little bit of everything. Gives you rotate and also gives you scale in some, normal aspect. How you control those is Shift, Control, and Alt. So let's just go and show you one by one. Alt, basically, if you hold it down, you kind of drag the mouse around, you can see it rotates depending on where your mouse moves to. So if you move your mouse down, it's going to rotate that way. You just let go of the Alt button, and bam. So that's like your basic Alt tool with the Move tool. Control does nothing as of right now. Shift is what it does like in RCT3. Shift, you can raise it or lower it. Good thing about RCT3 or Theme Park Studio, when you release Shift, oh, never mind. I remember that it lied to me again. No. But never mind. In RCT3, remember when you push Shift, you have to hold it down until you place it, and then it'll if ever you let go, it'll actually go back to its default ground. But with this one, wherever your mouse is, I guess that's where it'll go. So hopefully they'll address that. I really hope they do, because that really bugged me in RCT3 when I tried to raise a wall to a specific point and I didn't get it right, and I let go. I'm like, crap, it's back to the ground. Whatever. Anyway, yeah. Shift is your move it up and down. Alt's to move it around. Control, I believe once you have it selected. Let's see now. Oh, I don't want to do that. Alright, there we go. Alt, kind of, if you use your left mouse button instead of just moving it around. Let's see. There we go. Let's like default that. Let's see, doing that. I guess the Alt tool, the quick selection Alt tool where it snaps, is only available when you have it before you place it. Now, once after you place it, you can kind of drag it a little more than you could when you first take it. So it's a little bit more finesse there if you want to. Control, again, doesn't do anything. I thought it would manipulate it, or how do you say, scale it, but I guess it's just your scale object there. Let's go ahead and move on. Your rotate, you can actually rotate it just a little bit more. You can actually pivot this. So if you want it, a leaning tower, I guess, if you want, or if it's on a hill, like sort of like that, or it's like a hill like that, you can do that. Shift is to pivot it horizontal or vertically, I guess, depending on where you're looking at it. Alt is to pivot it the other way. So Shift, Alt. It's basically the way to remember, just Shift, Control, Alt. That's your whole keyboard tool for all these three. And of course, there's scale. Shift is, of course, to shift it up and down. Control, I believe, is proportional wise, and Alt is to squash and stretch. There we go. Yep. So a little bit about the manipulation tools there. Let's go and delete the object. Actually, we should have kept it, but whatever. This one is your snap to grid tool. So if it's off, you have free roam of wherever you want, unlike an RCT3 where you have that stupid grid. Now you can go anywhere you want simply by moving your mouse. But of course, if you want to put in the grid anyway, want to be a little more finesse or a little more technical of where you put it, you can still, put on a grid. As of right now, there are no grid lines to show exactly how big the grid is or, where the lines are. So for now, just have this invisible grid where it just snaps to. So there's that. We're gonna go delete that. Moving on to this one. These ones are for your terrain. So let's go ahead and bring in. Should keep deleting our stuff. Let's bring in again this one. Right now it's at this clear and raise. That one you can see if it basically the whatever terrain the base is on, it kind of sticks to it. So you can kind of like. There we go. Hopefully if I click it, there we go. It's like once you click it, then it'll activate this. So let's say if we do this, actually that one's in free roam. Oh, so like, okay, let's start over. This one won't actually manipulate anything at all. You can probably even, maybe, I'm not sure you can. I don't think, no. Well, yeah, you can clip through the terrain if you want to. Maybe if you want to make like a destroyed theme park, that'll actually be kind of cool. So like if you want something that like it was torn down or like it, you can alt, let's say, click that down there, and then maybe, darn it, you see that it doesn't, whatever. You still gotta get used to it, even to myself, you gotta get used to it. But let's see, the shift, oh, that's weird. I see, again, once you place it, you can't really manipulate it the way you want it to. So hopefully first make sure that's on so it doesn't manipulate anything. Bring it down, bam, and then we can go ahead and rotate it so it looks like, I don't know, a building collapsed. There you go. So I guess if you really want to make like a theme park that's kind of dilapidated, an abandoned theme park, make it look kind of haunted, you can do that. But I guess you can only do it before you place it, so be sure to remember that. Hopefully they fix that. But yeah, this is kind of like a stamp, so kind of remember that. You can take a tool or a building, shift it down, and then make sure to click it to activate it. I guess that's the way to activate it. It's kind of like a stamp. The foundation kind of stamps into the ground. And if we have it like that, or the third one, this one will kind of glue the foundation onto the terrain and it'll kind of follow it, I guess, wherever it goes. So I guess I don't really see the point of that, but whatever. I guess it's for the path. So if you have like a mountain and you want the path to cut through it, you could do it that way. Anyway, that's it for this one. We're gonna go check out the last one, which has a lot of stuff to cover with the materials editor. This will kind of look familiar to RCT3 fans when you go ahead and color stuff. There's, just the normal RGB colors. Dependent, I guess this is kind of dependent on the object. And we're going to destroy our, we're going to destroy our ticket booths right now, kind of to show you. This stuff, these are really interesting. They actually come preset, the game comes preset with textures that you can use. Already built in. Awesome. So let's say we want to change, actually let's see if we can make this a little more interesting, because if I were to just, as of right now this is like one whole object, and if I texture it all, it'll just turn into that whole that whole texture. So let's make this a little bit more interesting. Let's take one of these build sets, take a wall. Yes, I do. Let's go ahead and wait for it to load. There it goes. And wait for that. Delete that. Okay, so let's say, whoa, where'd it go? It disappeared. Don't go. I was gonna use you. No, don't make a new one. Yes, make a new one with that one. Bam. Bam, I guess. Okay, so let's delete that. Alright, so let's say we want, instead of a brick, we want it to be a wood piece. Or maybe let's just say a different kind of brick, and bam, you can just change that. And I guess it's, there are instances, so If you change that one will change too. So I guess that'll be a lot easier if you want to make stuff uniformal. Either that or it's possibly part of the same scenery, the scenery topology? No, not topology. Scenery group. So whatever changes with that one will change as well with that one. So you can really get in here and modify the look of your wall. So yeah, hell, you can even make it grass if you wanted to. Yeah, see, it's really the theme park studio is what it is. You're only limited to your imagination. So maybe this will be like the perfect, like if we build our own wall, if we want to make like a dark ride, we can have like a texture here where it's just painted pure black. So the wall will be, pure black for the dark rides. Or hey, if you want like, like how do you explain it? Like a full painted background. I forgot what those are called, but like if you're like in if you remember Disneyland, if you go into the Grand Canyon, the whole background is painted. Maybe you can take a texture of that, paint it on that big giant wall, and bam, you already have a painted textured wall for a background. But yeah, enough of fiddling with that. These are your like your texture maps. They're already been built preset. Of course, you can also add your own via here. You can always just go up here. Where is it? I know it says add texture. You can always just, go through your textures, add it into Theme Park Studio, and use your own. So that's enough of that. And these are bump maps, of course. I believe these are bump maps, yeah. Spatial. Oh, that's weird. It looks like an alpha, so I think it's alpha. Usually, if you don't know what I'm talking about, alpha is kind of like a mask. Anything white will show, anything black will not show. So it's kind of like looking at this. If you're a modeler, you would kind of tell that this is probably, squares of planes, and then you just use an alpha. So all you can see are the flowers instead of the, straight faces. So maybe eventually Theme Park Studio will also get people to actually start 3D modeling, probably using SketchUp. So I guess this is kind of like a gateway, kind of like a stepping stone for people to slowly get their way towards 3D modeling. So it's also probably one of the good things about this game too. It's not only just a game, it's actually something, it's more of a hobby now, I guess, this game. Rather than RCT3, which is just a game where other people, this one is literally like a hobby. You can make this a hobby of yours. But anyway, we just finished the texturing there. Looking at this one, yeah, I think I've already covered this, normal mapping and all that jazz. Anyway, let's move on. We finally finished the top portion. Let's move on to the fun stuff. This one, of course, these are your pre-built parks, anywhere where you save stuff. Let's see, park library. I'm pretty sure there's like a file where you can save the stuff in. If you want to share, it'll all be here. We won't be doing that. We'll be making our own park. Well, not really making our own park. We're just gonna fool around a bit, kind of show you how this works. Anyway, let's move on to terraforming. Now, terraforming works a bit like RCT3, just a little bit more finesse. You got like your alpha maps. These are like your brushes, like in Photoshop. Anything white will raise up, anything black will lower. If you push shift though, everything will go in reverse, so you can make those little valleys and such. Okay, so you have all that. They even have these landscape ones where it'll fully affect the whole map. So you don't really like terraforming, you could just, look through people who have made like hopefully they'll eventually make it to where you can make your own alpha maps, or your brushes. You can make your own little terrains a lot easier rather than slowly, raising and lowering all these valleys and stuff in order to make that. And you can just simply do that and bam, you have your own little valley already. And let's see here. I think we covered basically what these do. You have, of course, a level and raise, flatten. Let's look at a little bit more of these textures. Okay, this one does, again, one of those more complicated ones. Just gonna go through this real quick so you kind of at least understand what these do. Level 1 is basically your grass mat. This is your grass texture. There's another thing here that kind of shows you when they'll show up. So you have your grass angle, that's like your texture 1, texture 2, texture 3. Any terrain that's like at a 0, that's basically, it's just going to show up as grass, or whatever you place the texture for this is. So whatever this is, that's your level 1 or your grass map. I don't know how they want to name it. They can name it grass, rock, and cliff. I prefer that one, so it's a lot easier, so people will kind of understand it. But I guess level 1, 2, and 3 kind of works. Yeah, so anything that's at a 0-degree angle will stay as grass. Level 2 is like your slightly rocks or your dirt, kind of like right here. You can kind of see where that kind of translates to that in a way, sort of. Anything with a 45-degree angle, you can even adjust it here. See right here, 45-degree angle. Anything with 45 degrees or more will start to look like that texture you saw right here. So anything that's 45 degrees or above will show up as that. And of course you have your diffuse cliff mask. That's anything that's 120 degrees. Let's see if we can find one here. Yeah, right here. So this one's a little bit above 120 degrees, and they can kind of see the cliff rock face there. That's sort of, yeah, the little quick instance. So, you know, kind of looks complicated, so I just kind of explain it to you guys so you at least get an understanding of what that is. My opinion, there's a good thing and a bad thing as to how you can set up the way that the terrain looks that way. Good thing is it's like you don't have to worry about painting the texture. It already is painted for you, so like it can kind of look more realistic. Anytime there's like cliff faces or rocks, it's already pre-built in there. You don't have to paint it in like an RCT3. Bad thing, however, is it's uniformly everywhere. It's the whole park. So let's say you want to make a land that's based in the snow. How are you gonna, you know, separate that with the land that wants to be a desert? You know, you have one that's a desert right here, and then you have one that's like snow or a jungle here. How are we gonna differentiate the texture? So that's sort of like the bad thing about that whole terraforming thing there. So hopefully in their next milestone, they'll kind of address that to where we can, you know, paint our textures on top, besides just, you know, taking a pre-built texture map here and laying it down everywhere. Maybe there's already an option for that. I haven't really figured it out yet. Maybe it's the masking, maybe. I'm not quite sure. Well, hopefully they'll address that in later milestones. Anyway, let's move on. Your basic environment, as of right now, there isn't any time-lapse system in this, so you're just gonna have to choose your skybox in the night or day so far. This one will be kind of interesting, like if you want to make the atmosphere, if you want to make a theme park on Mars and make everything look red, it'll be kind of awesome. Or if like maybe you're not want to make a whole theme park, you just want to make a specific ride, and that specific ride has like a kind of greenish tone throughout the park, like a dark ride has that. Maybe you can do that. Just something that you can do with these hemispheres and skyboxes. But so far, it's just a way to change from day to night and then sunset. We'll just skip it to daytime for now. Finally, moving on to something a little more interesting rather than the more complicated stuff. We're gonna go ahead and build some paths finally. So this one, build paths. That's just gonna look at I think it's like your last built path, and it'll just continue from there on. The only path right now is this one that's on the ticket booth, so it'll just stick to that. Manipulating it is just like manipulating an object, as if you have the move tool on with any object. Holding Alt will, you know, switch around or manipulate where it'll face, and of course we can turn off the grid so we can make it more uniformal. So let's just say we want to make it kind of zigzag here. Let's make a little bit more there. There we go. And then, of course, once we're done with the path, we can go ahead and manipulate it just a little bit more. So, like, if we hold Alt, we can go ahead and do that finesse. So it's kind of like the pen tool in Photoshop. There are no Bezier manipulator holders or hand manipulators. I forgot, Bezier corners kind of like thing. So it has its limits compared to the pen tool in Photoshop. So if you guys already kind of like used like a GIMP, I think the GIMP has something similar. You guys are at least familiar with how this path will work. Let's just keep it at that. So if you want to build another path, they're all already available here. Fences even. Hopefully, as of right now, we have just pre-built walls. Hopefully maybe we can make a custom scenery wall and kind of give it the same kind of tool where we can stretch it and twist it, kind of like in here. But for now, we just have these for now. Of course, we can still retexture them, so if we don't like this this concrete looking stone, we can always change that. Yes, we'll delete the path there. Don't freeze on me, please. Didn't freeze on me. Alright, awesome. Oh, no, okay. It kind of froze on me. Sort of. Okay, hold on, bear in mind. I'm just gonna go ahead and make a new one. Yeah, we'll level the terrain. Okay, there we go. Let's just go ahead and rebuild our path just real quick. I like to turn that off. Bam. We'll just do that. Okay, next one over. Path objects. These are just basically paths that are just similar, that you can, that are, I guess, kind of related to the path. It's kind of like what, how do you say, in RCT3, where it kind of shows you where objects that you can place on paths only. But of course, this is Theme Park Studio. It's not limited, so you can just even put it on the grass if you wanted to, unlike in RCT3 where you have to put it on the path. You don't have to put it on the path. You can put it anywhere you want. But yeah, anyway, it's just a list of stuff that could be associated with the path. Okay, moving on. Let's see what this is. Path structure library. I guess these are things that can be connected to a path, like this entrance right here. Most likely, maybe if you want to build, if you have like a preset gate with a path in it, you'll have the, you'll have it in here. So if you have the path structure up here, and then there's the objects around it, it'll probably stick to there. Moving on here, this one, of course, another one of your prior or advanced manipulation tools. Shows you like the size of the road if you want to make it fatter, more room for everybody, or thinner. Maybe if you want to use it just like a divider for like a how do you say, a garden, you can do that. Let's see here. Of course, you can add fences if you'd like to, and of course sidewalks. Of course, those can be manipulated too. Size of the fence, and then the size of the sidewalk as well. And then finally, we can add some objects pre-built onto the path. So even if you manipulate the path, it'll still stay on there. So let's just go ahead and do that. Pretty sure this has already been seen in the tutorials or the pre-built or the trailers. Let's just go ahead, kind of show you just like exactly what these do. Of course, these do look a little bit more complicated yet again. Distance, this will add or subtract trees for you. So let's say if we would do 200. Oh, actually no. Wrong way. If we do the less it is, so let's say 20, the more trees there'll be. So kind of calculates this distance, not how many trees there are. So that is kind of confusing, but just to kind of like, kind of get you a way to wrap your head around it. Distance kind of measures the distance between these. So the less distance, the more trees there'll be. So let's just go ahead and move that back to 50 or so. Let's see how the default for the other one is. That's 50. It's 100. So move it back to 100. Okay. So let's just make sure we're selecting everything here. Yeah, let's make sure we're selecting everything. Well, that's weird. Let me see if I can't just choose this. Can't choose that. I guess hopefully we'll shift select everything. Hopefully that shift selects. If there's such thing as a shift select. Control? Whoa. Whoa, whoa. Oh, that's a little weird. How did I do that? Is it control? Oh, well, whatever. Yeah, as you can see, even though I did take some time trying to learn this, it's still kind of a little off. So let's just go and delete that so we're just working with one. Okay, anyway, back to the topic at hand. Separation. So let's go back to this one so we can, or this manipulation. So let's add a road. No, not the road. The sidewalk. Let's give it a little bit more room here. There we go. So let's go back and I forgot what I was going to do here. Oh, here we go. Let's go and take the eucalyptus here. Separation, basically, it's just the adjustment of the placement. So let's say we want it on the road there. Same thing with this one. We'll just move it down there so it's in the center. And then what we can easily do next, so it doesn't look like it's just sticking out of the sidewalk there, we can also add, hopefully this will work because I have not tried this yet, but let's see. Oh, never mind. I'm gonna have to add a new object, I guess. So we're gonna have to click this, add a new object like so, and then bam. So let's see, distance, the hedge ring, we're gonna have to adjust that to the same, so maybe 10. Should have clicked, oh, keep forgetting that. Wrong, it's not 10, remember, more numbers. There we go, see now it's a little bit more adjusted to the level of the trees, and then of course all we gotta do, make sure this one's 100 as well. And then let's go ahead and kind of adjust this so that it's right under the tree. And there we go. See, it's not that, it's at least something. As of right now, there's no way to manipulate the, let's see. Yeah, there's no way to manipulate the transform of it. I think, yeah, and there's no way to manipulate it at all, so you're kind of stuck with what you get with this. Hopefully they'll be able to make it so that we can adjust the scale, so if we don't like it like this, we can kind of make it more rounder if we wanted to, but so far, guess that's how it is. That's how we'll deal with it for now. Let's go ahead, just since I'm a little OCD, let's go ahead and just put that back over there too. So we can just model our OCD a little bit better. All right. Anyway, let's move on. Let's see. We've already seen the properties here in that one. We already finished the paths, which is a pretty cool tool, as you can see. Of course, you can add your benches and then your popcorn if you want to, but we'll just leave it like that. Quickly with this one, of course, these are your objects. Quick thing I can show you with these objects. If you hold control next to a path, it'll go ahead and connect it to that, or it'll follow the path. So you don't have to go ahead and fiddle around with it and then, slowly kind of rotate it around to fit the angle of this road. So that's a nice tool to have. Let's just go ahead and connect that. Also a little hint too, it doesn't really connect to the sidewalk, so however big your sidewalk is, it'll more directly connect to the road. So a little heads up on that. Let's go ahead and continue with the trees. Same thing with the buildings, of course. Placement, you can also shift, select, or shift it, place it, and then you can, you can scale it if you wanted to. However, unfortunately, if you scale it like that, it has already been addressed, but the way it's been programmed, the tree or the leaves stay the same shape when you scale it up or down. So I'm pretty sure that's already been addressed. It's already been suggested in the community about this bug, so don't worry about that. But yeah, it's just basically telling you everything can be manipulated, everything can be shaped no matter what it is, anything that you plug into here. Now we're gonna skip the coaster for now because no, there's nothing. Yeah, pre-alpha has no roller coasters at this time, but they do have a flat ride. These don't work though; they don't move, but at least they're there. Same thing with everything else. You can also use control to snap it to the path, and of course shift or click shift, hold left click and shift to transform it. Bam, yeah, there you go. Let's just place it. Let's just place it right there. It doesn't really matter where we put it. Kind of realize that some of these won't really scale like that Ferris wheel we did, or that carousel. Like with this one, shaping it, yeah, you can kind of see kind of wonky, kind of like the tree. So of course it's in pre-alpha. You're gonna run into some of this stuff eventually. So just bear in mind, if you do have the game or planning to get the game right now, there are some objects that will kind of scale a little off. No, this one's taking a while. Oh, there it goes. Let's see this one. No, this one can scale uniformly, yeah. That one, there's no problem with that one. Okay. So, yeah, just a little heads up there about what's you can look forward to here for the rides. Let's go ahead and move on to the particle effects. Alright. Let's go ahead and make this a little optimal so we can see it here. So let's go back to our particle effects. Now then, if we take these, place it right now, it's using fast render. So wherever you put it, doesn't matter where, even if you put it inside this building right here, it'll still illuminate the top portion. The way that it works is it's just a quick one, doesn't really use a computer to render out very much. So wherever it's placed, whatever objects it's around, it will illuminate it based on like a I believe it's an invisible shape that you can't see. So whatever's in that invisible shape will be illuminated. However, if we go ahead and go here, change that Omni Fast to Omni HD, the light will of course reflect a lot more realistically. So even though it's in this building, you can't see it from the top. So guess it kind of changes that hit detection, I guess you could say, about the light. So even though it's in there, it won't reflect the top. So I guess it just looks for normal faces wherever it hits. Yeah, don't worry about what I'm saying. Normals and all that other 3D rendering lingo, whatever. Anyway, all you need to know is that Omni HD is more realistic but will lag more. Omni Fast is less realistic, but it'll save your RAM for a while. Yeah, it'll save you from crashing your RAM or whatever. Finally, we got 3 more. Build sets, custom scenery. This is kind of like RCT3 where they have the little build sets. Build your own thing. And believe that these objects have been built inside Theme Park Review. Theme Park Studio. Whoa, never mind. What am I saying? These have been built in Theme Park Studio, so something like this you can build yourself, I believe. You don't need to use a 3D rendering software like SketchUp. These are like just your basic objects that you can build with this. There we go. See, with this one, again, you can stretch and scale it. Pretty sure there'll be a little bit more tools rather than just like your regular manipulator here. As you can see, you have position, orientation, scale, texture, physics, and properties. That one will be your custom scenery builder. It's like your basic 3D builder. So if you want to get into 3D modeling and SketchUp, it looks a little more complicated. Or if you're just like in for I guess it's like a stepping stone in a way for people that are kind of interested in 3D modeling, but it looks a little too advanced for you. I guess this is kind of like your stepping stone. So these are your primitives, and you can kind of orient them in this these lists or these tools right here, which is currently grayed out. I guess they'll add it later. But yeah, I guess that's your way to build your custom scenery objects, and then you can texture it. But yeah, so far, right now I guess we're just dealing with primitives for now, and then we can later, once they upgrade to a new, when they go to their milestone, they'll give us these tools. But for now, we just have, the basic primitives. Anyway, let's just go ahead and go back here. And lastly, particle effects. And of course, just like everything else, these can be built yourself. So as of right now, there aren't any particle editors yet. I believe this will be it right here. And hopefully Particles 2 will be your water fountains and maybe fireworks, I hope. But so far we just have fire, smoke, and a torch. And I believe how it will work is, if you can see kind of closely, these are I guess like PNGs, not really a JPEG, but it's like images, and it's like a cartoon, or I don't know how to explain this. It's an animation. It's like a GIF. There we go. It's a GIF. There we go. That's something a little more easier to do. So I guess if you know how to make a GIF and you know how to make it, I guess it looks transparent to me. I'm pretty sure it'll be similar to that. We'll see once it's the particle creator is available to us, but we'll see eventually. Anyway, lastly, I'm gonna go ahead with this last part. I'm gonna go ahead and re-terraform our scene here so we can kind of get a better understanding of the last tool. Alright, let's just keep it like that. Alright, escape to cancel the tool. Finally, water. And all you gotta do is boop. There we go, we got water. And of course, these are your parameters. The water speed, I guess, is like the flow of the water. If you want to make rapids, I guess that'll give the speed of the flow. Water scale. I've been fooling around with this. I guess it's just the ripples in the water. As you can see, the more it is, like the more calm it will be. So I guess if you want I guess it's also with like rapids. So if you want more ripples in the water, like maybe if you're in the beach, you can add more ripples. And then the speed of the water. Let's see, that's if we can increase the speed here. It doesn't really look like nothing has changed much. Well, we'll figure that out later. Of course, we're in pre-alpha. There really isn't a lot. And again, I don't think I mentioned this before, but everything that I have learned so far has been right here. Documentations, they're all here. So if you're confused of what to do, everything's here. So yeah. Anyway, surface fog, I believe that's kind of like your the way it looks. And then water fog, I guess the color of the water. We'll just have to see a little bit later, because I think I did manipulate this. Let's say if we want to make it blood red. You can't really see, like I can see a little bit of the red there, but that's about it. So I don't know how that manipulates the water in any way. Maybe since it's an alpha, it doesn't do that much. But let's go ahead and just move it back to black or blue, or whatever color that we can have it in. Then that's pretty much it. And you could probably hear the cat behind in the background. Whatever. You can just keep meowing. I don't know. I think she wants to get out of the room and probably go potty. But we're getting a little off topic here. Don't worry, I'll let her out. If you're worried about the cat, she'll come out eventually, or I'll let her out eventually. I'm just going to show you guys one more thing, and that's importing custom scenery. Another in RCT3, you have like, stuff you have to download because, technically it doesn't support custom scenery. But with Theme Park Studio, you can finally get your own stuff quickly from the, like maybe SketchUp, and it'll be instantly there. So let's go ahead and give you a little bit of an example here. Let's go with my desktop. I set one up already. I've already made a carnival booth here. Merge with existing, auto rename, and wait for it. Oh, let's wait up. Huh. Last time I did that, it showed up. That's weird. I wonder why I did that. Anyway, well, for the most part, it is there. So what you're probably seeing, that blue part, I guess I didn't read that texture again, is probably because it's an alpha. Last time I did import it, it worked. But as of right now, I guess we'll just check it out right now. So, and also show you the tool that I kind of skipped. So what, it was this certain tool, the selection lock tool. So if I don't have, let's have the selection lock tool on. Let's go ahead and, oh wait, let's take it off first. We have to select everything and then lock it. So like say if we don't want the placement of it, we can go ahead and move it around. Now you might think that's like, oh, that's not a big deal. I mean, you've been doing that. So let's just say the selection tool is off. Now since this is like a custom scenery object, and I believe you can do it with other stuff too, like the Ferris wheel, all of this is made with separate pieces, and it's like think of it as a Lego set. So let's say we want to move it. You think you want to move everything. That thing's off. Burp! Ooh, what happened? You just took a piece off. What'd you do? Ah! So yeah, make sure when you're dealing with custom scenery, or possibly once this all the bugs are fixed, because I tried doing that with some of these, like say the carousel. You can see that it looks similar to my custom scenery object I just built. You know, with the, I think these are hit detection boxes whenever you select them. You can see the same thing here. Let's say we lock it. We want to move it around. Let's see. There we go. We want to move it around. Okay, let's say we unlock it. And let's say we want to take a piece. See, it kind of follows around with it. I guess since it's a ride, it kind of does that. But I guess with custom scenery, it doesn't. I'm not sure. Again, it's in pre-alpha, so they'll probably, you know, they'll fix everything. But again, make sure when you're finally dealing with custom scenery, especially during this early stage, and you want to move an object, best thing to do, lock that selection before you move it, so you can move all of the pieces together. So just think of it as glue when you're building with it, and if you don't have it glued, and then, oh, your Lego piece just fell apart. Oh, too bad. But yeah, and of course, especially right now where there isn't an undo option, so which is kind of weird why they didn't include that in its. I know it's pre-alpha, but you know, Control Z, C, and V. We really definitely need a copy and paste. So if we want to take this and copy and paste it, hopefully we can do that. And especially when we have like a shrub, like say we have this shrub, right? And let's say we want it right here, we want that one. Well, it already copies it on its own, but let's say we want to delete that, and then we go to another one. And see, we kind of lose that, the shape of that shrub we want, so we're going to have to kind of adjust it the way we had it before. So it will kind of be a lot easier if we have like a copy and paste kind of, copy and paste object or tool. But anyway, yeah. I think that's about all I could show you for now. Of course, my custom scenery style object is there. Let's go and delete that. But show you a theme park studio. And finally, my last words about this game. Since it is in pre-alpha right now, despite the fact that it does have some bugs, I still kind of recommend it to people that are more serious about building stuff for theme parks, or they're building their own theme parks, because as of right now, it isn't really slated to give this game a basically a tycoon mode where you have to you know, balance your finances and all that stuff. So far, they are not planning to do that. This is only a building and design tool, but it isn't in the. It's not. It's not a impossible no. They're not saying no, we're not going to do it. It's still in consideration. So they do listen. So maybe if they get enough people to ask for that, the tycoon mode or financial mode, they will eventually put it. But for now, I guess for pre-alpha, they're just worrying about the design and the layout of how things work. So far, it's mostly for those high maybe I guess for hobbyists that just like to recreate rides or recreate parks and want to be an Imagineer. It's mostly like a Photoshop software. It's not a game per se, at least as of right now. It's more of just it's a tool. There you go. It's more of like a tool. Anybody that just wants to build. So if you do really want it to be, if you really like what you see, since it's like, fully customizable and everything, and you want it to make it a game, be sure to tell Pantera at their website at themeparkstudio.com. I mean, they already listened to everybody, and they've already been changing suggestions. That's already been looked into. They already have like their own little forum and I guess a Mantis hub where you can go ahead and suggest and tell them, oh hey, there's a bug here. Hey, can you do this? And if there's enough people that ask for it, they'll put it in there. So, give a shout out. Let them know what you want for this game, because for me, I really want this game to pull through. This is such an amazing software, and I really can't wait to recreate some rides, maybe make my own rides. And yeah, that's about it. We'll see you guys with the next milestone of Theme Park Studio.